You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders find real protection and peace of mind through true Texas church insurance. Today, we're talking about one of the most dangerous myths in church insurance, which is the idea of full coverage. If you've ever been told your church is fully covered, listen closely, because sometimes what sounds true is really just almost true. That difference can cost your ministry more than you think. Pastor Mark had faithfully served his Abilene church for nearly a decade. Insurance wasn't something he thought about often. His agent had always said, "Don't worry, Pastor, you've got full coverage." But one day, a letter arrived. A former member was suing the church, claiming that advice Pastor Mark gave during counseling had made their depression worse. When he called his agent, he learned the painful truth. Pastoral liability wasn't included in his policy. That so-called full coverage didn't cover the one thing that mattered most. And just like that, Pastor Mark discovered what many churches learn too late, which is that almost truth in insurance can be just as dangerous as almost truth in faith. My own pastor once said, "True wisdom is the ability to discern between truth and almost truth." This applies not only to faith, but also your church's insurance. Because when the storm hits, when the lawsuit comes, or when the roof leaks, almost truth won't protect you. Let's look at the three biggest almost truths that churches believe about their insurance. Almost truth number one is that when an agent tells you that you have full coverage, it means that you are protected. But this is simply not true. There is no such thing as an insurance policy that covers everything. Church insurance is made up of different types of liability coverage. These include general liability, pastoral counseling, directors and officers, employment practices, sexual misconduct, cyber liability, and more. Each one must be intentionally added. When someone says you're fully covered, what they usually mean is you're partially covered. And unless you ask what's missing, you'll never know where you're exposed. Almost truth number two is that cheaper insurance is equivalent to good stewardship. Spending less money might sound godly, but when it comes to your church's insurance, it is not always wise. Cheaper policies often come with higher deductibles, more exclusions, and weaker claim terms. Pastor Mark's church saved money on premiums but paid it all back in legal bills when that coverage fell short. Good stewardship isn't about the lowest price. It's about protecting what God's entrusted to you with wisdom and discernment. A third almost truth about church insurance is that when your policy has storm coverage, it means that you are safe. Not all storm coverage is equal, especially in Texas. Wind, hail, and hurricane deductibles vary. Some policies have a 5% wind and hail deductible. This means that if your church has a $1 million property, you pay $50,000 out of pocket before the insurance even helps. So yes, storm coverage might be listed on your church's policy, but if the terms make it unusable, that's not protection, that's false peace. These almost truths might sound reassuring, but they're dangerous. True wisdom means asking the next question, reading the fine print, and partnering with someone who will tell you the truth, not just what's easy to hear. At Insurance for Texans, we offer our True Texas Church Insurance Program. Through it, we help church leaders separate truth from almost truth. If you've ever been told your church has full coverage, it's time to find out what that really means. Visit insurancefortexans.com to schedule your personalized review. And let's make sure your ministry is protected with wisdom, clarity, and truth. For a deeper understanding of all things church insurance related, grab my book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, True wisdom is knowing the difference between truth and almost truth. When it comes to protecting your church, only the full truth will do.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.